Whoa! Hi there, today I'm going to show you how to make a really cool, or I should say a really hot infrared heater that's going to be amazing. Now, I've been watching a lot of different channels, getting some ideas. I've built quite a few heaters on my own, as you know, over the past month or so. And I put together a lot of these ideas and came up with some other ideas that I've had. And I'm going to put them into this new one. So this is going to be an experiment. I was working on it a little earlier and I had flames coming out of this thing. I was checking the heat and it was like 750 degrees and the top lid was starting to melt. So I said, whoa, I'm going to take it down a few notches. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Now, what do I need for this? It's going to require 3 tin cans. It's going to require some mesh. Okay, for the infrared. It requires either a penny or a little ball bearing. I like the ball bearing. It's like a marble. And this is denatured alcohol, a drill, and some scissors that will cut through the mesh. And a stapler. Ooh. So if you have office equipment and tools, you're all set. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this can. This is the base can. Now this one here is, just so you know the size, it's Phillips crab meat. This is not sponsored, but it should be. This stuff is great. Okay, I bought some of this from Walmart the other day. Big chunks. You know, I usually open crab meat, it's all little pieces. Nice chunks, okay? So if you don't like crab meat, send this to me. I'll eat it and send you the tin can back, okay? So this is the size can I'm going to start with. Then I got a can of pineapple, okay, which goes really good with crab meat. And this one fits inside. See about the amount of space I have between the two? Now when I tried it earlier, I had this can and I did it with a smaller can on the inside, which is like a little tomato sauce can. And you see how much space I had? And whoa, that caused some flames. So I'm trying to make a little bit less flames by using this one. So what I'm going to do with this can, by the way, is I'm going to make holes in it. This one's going to stay just like it is, because that's the outside. The inside can, okay, is going to go in there, and I'm going to make a small hole on the top. Can you see that? Okay, great. Small hole, and I'm using a step drill, by the way. That's a drill that goes in, and the more you push it, the bigger the hole gets. And you can get those at Walmart, Home Depot, pretty much anywhere. Now, how big do I want the hole? Just big enough to get the alcohol in there, but not too big that this ball doesn't fit on it. So I want the ball to fit on it, okay, without going through. So I'm going to go a little bit bigger. There we go. I did it earlier and the ball went right through. Whoops. So that's going to stop the air from going in the center can where I'm going to have the alcohol. And this is where I put the alcohol in. Now, you've probably seen me do my first infrared heater, and that had carbon felt going around here as the wick. Well, I was thinking, I've done tests. Matter of fact, I did one just a little while ago with, this is something I did on my own, a bunch of tin cans. These are tuna cans filled with different fuels. This one here, they all had denatured alcohol, but this one had carbon felt. This one had perlite. I had another one with steel wool and another one just with plain denatured alcohol, nothing else in it, just the alcohol. And I was very impressed how the one with the perlite worked. So, oh, and that was the other ingredient I forgot to tell you about. You need to get some perlite. Now, what is perlite? I use this in gardening a lot. It's great, especially if you do bucket gardening like I do. Look on my channel, you'll see a lot about that. So, what this is, it's kind of, it's little things. They're very absorbent, but they're volcanic rock. Okay, so they're not lava. I don't know if it would be called lava, but volcanic rock. And they get really hot. All right. So we're going to use that and put those between. But before I do, this is where the water's going to, the liquid's going to go in. It's going to be sitting on the bottom, and I don't want the perlite to kind of go underneath it, inside there too much. It's going to, you can't help that. So I'm going to make holes going around for the alcohol to get out into the sides where the perlite's going to be, but not too much of the perlite to go in. So I want to make them smaller holes. This is always fun to do, unless you prime it with a nail first. Come on. So just small holes. It is two. It doesn't matter how many you do. Just enough to have it go out. But see, some of them are smaller. I like the small ones there. Some of them are too big, but don't worry about it. The can doesn't care. It'll still work. And you also got to worry about it getting clogged with the perlite. So even if some of them get clogged, there's going to be some others that aren't. So we're playing the numbers game. Didn't know you'd be hearing Vegas talk, huh? Okay. So how many holes there? It looks like I got like 11 or so. All kinds of holes going around the bottom. And I put them close to the bottom. Or if you wanted, I guess you can just take one of those drills, you know, something like this here, or grinder, and just kind of grind little slots around. That would do the same thing, okay? Alrighty, so now I'm going to take this and put it in here. That look good? All kinds of junk here from all the different things. Metal shavings. There we go. I don't want to get them in my fingers. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is get perlite between the two. This is the fun part. This stuff goes all over the place, as you might guess, right? Try to get it pretty even in the middle if you can. Can you see what I'm doing? Good. And you can clean up your mess after. Like I said, the can doesn't care. And that's why we have our workshop, so we can make a mess. And your spouse doesn't say, "Oh, you made a mess in my kitchen." Or if you want, do it in the kitchen. And your spouse might say, "You need to get a place to work." And there you go, you got a shop. Okay, now, I actually did it a little bit higher than I wanted. Let's see, I don't want to get it all the way to the top. So you can see kind of what I did. I put perlite, can you see inside there? Between the two. Now I want to level it out a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it around with my pliers here. So it's kind of even, fairly even anyway. Let me use just one of these all the way around. Some places it's really low, so we're going to use some of the mess that we have down here. And precision work is my call. All right. So I think I just want a little bit more in this corner here. I thought I had it pretty high. Now I don't go all the way up to the top. I go about 3/4 of the way. Why? Because the next step is to take this and put it in here for the infrared. That's another reason why I want it to be even, okay? Now, oh, look at this mess here. How are we going to fix this? Ha-ha, we have a stapler. Now, be careful when working with this stuff. It's pretty sharp. Ouch, like I just did. Okay, get it fairly even. And hopefully, ow. I just got an owie. And let's see if that fits now. Oh, good, that's going to fit perfectly. So what I'm going to do is staple it there, and I'm also stapling it at the top. And I'm going to go in as far as the stapler will allow me and get a, whoops. My stapler doesn't like this. You know, I messed up the stapler already. Isn't that great? Not to worry, I just happen to have needle holes, pliers right there. There we go. And let's try it again. And yes, this is not what a stapler is to be used for. I imagine they have some heavy-duty staplers you can use. Well, I don't have one. Okay, so I'm putting 2 staples at the top and 2 at the bottom. So now how this should fit in here, let me go ahead and show you, see if you can see the whole thing here, is this will fit in here. And this is the other part, by the way. Okay, the bottom can, I have another can about the same size. And what I did is I just cut maybe about an inch off that, and I put 4 holes around the top. That's just for ventilation. And this is to give me a top to it. Okay? And by the way, once this gets going, that's going to go right in the hole. So here's the finished product of what it's going to look like. Last thing to do is to fill it with fuel. Now I have a small hole drilled in here for this, okay, so you might not have a funnel that will fit that, and if you don't, these things work great. Matter of fact, this was from Expert Grill for my griddle I have upstairs. So what I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to pour some right in. I measure by looking at this. I'm going to probably do about maybe half of it. Whoops, I spilled all kinds of it on the top. So down to about here, let's say. Almost. Okay. I'll take care of that mess on the top. Then I take it and I prime it by putting some on the sides. I want to make sure that I'm getting fuel on top of the perlite because it's going to absorb it. Okay. Now, I don't want to have a big fire when I start, so always have paper towels handy, and while we're talking about safety, make sure you have a fire extinguisher, a smoke detector like I have right here, which goes off all the time, which is why I'm going to do this test over there, and a carbon monoxide. Safety, safety, safety. All right, so I'm going to take this marble with me, and I'm going to bring this over there in the safe zone. Are you ready? Come on. This will be so cool. All right, so here we are ready to go. The things that I have available here on hand is I have my trusty fuel. I have some denatured alcohol if I need some more. Putting it off to the side. My little gauge to see how hot it is as we go. And most importantly, this guy. Always have it within hand. And, of course, some gloves are neat to have because this thing does get really hot. So let's go ahead and get it started. Since it's been sitting here so long, I'm going to prime it a little bit first. I want to make sure it's wet. I waited so long that I'm sure it dried up already. And I did a little spillage. There we go. I'll take the marble off for now so it can burn. Oops. Now, something I've learned already, don't light it up right inside the middle because the can will actually fly out. It wants to fly out right up, but it'll probably jerk up about an inch or so, and it scares the heck out of you. So right now, I'm getting that hot kind of priming. You can see the flames coming out of it. And hopefully that's going to help to absorb the denatured alcohol into the rocks and pull it through, because right now the soil is mostly in there. See how that wants to go? Want to see what happens if I hit inside that hole? Whoa! And that's why you don't want to do that. Ho-ho! Ooh. This is how you put out a flame. I had no idea, folks, it was going to be that violent, but finally, as with any experiment, I had to make quite a few alterations. So let's call this take 4. Initially, I did this test with the lobster can and a regular vegetable can like this, which left a lot more space, probably about, maybe half an inch or a little more between the two for the perlite. And the problem is I filled it up all the way up to here with perlite, and the flames got so hot that this top was actually starting to turn cherry red. So I'd say I was getting readings of about 750, 800 degrees, okay? That's just way too hot for this kind of thing. So we decided to go with a larger inside can, which was the pineapple can. You can see the difference between the pineapple can and the previous. See the difference in the size? So now I had this pineapple can inside there, leaving me a little over a quarter inch of space. And I put the perlite in, but the flames just weren't getting very high. And we had a little accident at the time. So I decided to come back and start all over and go back with this can again. And we went with a, basically, like, I think it's a string bean can. And I made it the same way. It had small holes around, that's actually the bottom, so it goes in like this. So small holes so the fuel can flow through from the middle and go to the outside, and it wicks up into the perlite. And I only filled it up with perlite up to about here. Okay, so again, a little bit less than the height before. So right now we have a small can, kind of like this here, and the perlite is up to about here. So there's a little space for the flame, and I put that on top of the perlite. So it's working great. You can see how high the flames are getting. They're not too out of control. We didn't go really high, okay? So you want to be careful. It's going to be an experimenting type thing. And remember, this is very dangerous. Ah! It's very dangerous. You can get hurt a lot. So I'm doing it for entertainment purposes, to enlighten you what can be done. But if you're going to use this in your home, which I say, no, don't. If you want to use it in a garage or in a greenhouse, make sure you are not leaving it unattended. Watch it closely. Have a fire extinguisher. Matter of fact, because of the little accident we had earlier, I'm going to get a fire blanket, which I'm going to be ordering tonight, because we had flames all over this thing, and some of them flew out. It was quite a mess, and I was able to get them out, but a fire blanket would have been so much easier just to cover the whole thing and smother it. So you want to be safe, because again, this gets very hot and you can get very hurt. I can't stress that enough. So after using a smaller can in the middle, making a hole on the top to be able to cover the little marble there, to be able to cover with the, I have like a lead ball there on the top, or you could use a penny or a quarter. That's because when pressure builds up, it'll just move the ball and escape rather than explode, okay? So let's go ahead and look at temperatures. Right now, okay, the can itself, can you see this, is only 90 degrees, 86 degrees, so you can almost touch that, but I would suggest not to. And as we start going up, 104, 140, and look at that, the inside can is 365, 390, 400, 500, 700. Okay, so that's right at the top there. That marble is 701 degrees. The lead ball, actually it's a stainless steel ball. And as we go up, 600, 500. Now how about right on top here? 520 degrees. 559 on the top. See how this is getting cherry red all around here and the flames coming up? So after experimenting with different size cans and different wicks, because I've done this one before with the carbon felt, I really like this one. The flame seems consistent. Look how tall it is. It's putting off quite a bit of warmth, and you could even put a reflector behind it. Normally I would say I could even put my heat fan. I have one of those fans here. I don't know how that's going to work up there, but I'll put it up just so you can see it, just for temporarily, but I'm not going to leave it there because you can see it's on perlite, so I don't know how safe that would be. So if you're going to use a fan like this, what I would do is probably, let me get this back so you can see what I'm talking about. If you're going to use a fan like that, what I would probably do is put several sheet metal screws, one there, or maybe even 4. So this part, the screen, would sit on the sheet metal screws and be a lot safer. Setting it on the perlite can be a little bit flippy. So there we go. The heat is, like I said, getting pretty warm. I'm not sure what temperature it requires. Right now it's 500, 540. So pretty soon this thing should get hot enough to be able to turn it. You see the blade starting to turn now? And there we go. We even have the fan to circulate that warm air through it. So I think all in all, this is a success. I'm very happy with it. My DIY infrared heater. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye now. Ooh.